Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be doing episode number 9 of I Build Your Teams, the series where I build my viewers' teams to the best teams possible for my team unlimited and or competitive play based on how much MT they have and what their squad is currently looking like. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 15,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, consistently dropping at minimum 5 videos every single day on my team, so would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop right into it. We're gonna start off with this first team today, which comes in from JJ5. He's got 200,000 MT, says everything is unsellable, but he's willing to change anyone. No money spent, I will say. Tim Duncan was probably not worth the lock-in. I'll say that. Even Shaq, as a no money spent player, may not have been worth the lock-in either. You need to stretch big. I'm going to be completely honest. That's like one of the most important things your team is missing right now, because you can't really, I mean, 2 insides, 1 inside is fine. 2 insides, I think, really limits. I think you need at least some sort of popper. The cheapest and best option, honestly, that's going to be both affordable but also good, is probably Anthony Davis. I would just suck it up and buy AD, and then you can sell him back later when you wind up upgrading at some point to some other big. But I think Anthony Davis is a guy that you need to find a spot for in the lineup, even if it's him at the backup 5 over Tim Duncan. I just think he's the main upgrade right now. Outside of that, team's looking really good. Definitely get SGA if you can. He would be a big upgrade over Sean Livingston at point guard. As much as I do like Sean Livingston, SGA is a much better card. I don't know if you're grinding like that, but you said you got Wilt as well. That means you're probably grinding, especially guys because you got B-Roy. If you can get SGA soon, he'd be a big upgrade as well. And honestly, SGA for every team that doesn't have him is an upgrade if you're grinding the game that much. It all depends how much you're grinding personally. D-Wade and D-Mitch is a fine point guard duo. Shooting guards are okay as well. Steve Smith and Dominic, not insane, but not too bad. Carmelo and AK at the 3s is really good. Jaren and Paulo is fine. Mark and Serge Ibaka. I don't love Mark Gasol. I think the lack of speed on this card is something that I'm not a big fan of. I think the easiest way to upgrade your team, honestly, right now, would be to slide. Well, he's unsellable. So, did you lock in Marc Gasol? I don't even know what set he would be in, but no, he might have just been a pull or something. But unsellable Marc Gasol. He's not a bad card. You're not running. Oh, I didn't even see Wilt. I would just use Wilt, honestly. I know you don't really exactly have the cards for Wilt, but you could start D-Mitch instead of D-Wade. Gives you a little bit more of a 3-hunter at point guard. And the Carmelo's a 3-hunter as well. Steve Smith also a very good shooter. I think you just start Wilt, and you could have Marc Gasol in like your last 3. I know inside centers can be annoying, but Wilt is so dominant in other areas that if you can just learn to run a little bit more of a pick and roll offense with Wilt, make sure you're calling your screens directly with Wilt. I have a video on my channel if y'all don't know how to call screens with a specific player, so you can call your screen with Wilt no matter where he is on the court every single time, and that can make it a lot easier to run an inside big. So, but Wilt has to make a spot in your leads on your team. I think I didn't even realize he was at the end of your bench, but he's the main guy. You only have 100k MT. You need to save that up so you can make a bigger upgrade at some point in the near future. Next one today comes in from Tepez. He's no money spent, 450,000 MT though. D-Wade and Livingston. Dominique, I don't love Mitch Richmond, but I do like Steve Smith. Kawhi, Blake, Joel, Paulo, George Mikan is okay, but not great. Embiid is sellable. That's a lot of MT invested into a center, but Embiid's also a really good card. I honestly don't mind that, considering you still have, you said 450k. Blake and Paulo at power forward is fine. Your small forwards are good. You could use another shooting guard. Paul George is really expensive, but he's really damn good too. That's a potential upgrade right there, or a backup big, potentially like a Jaren Jackson Jr. at the 5 would be a big upgrade, but that's backup center. Paul George, I mean, you could sell him back later. You're going to lose a good chunk of MT, but if you grade him and get a good grade on him, get lucky there, you could make a good amount of that MT back, and you'll make the MT back using the Paul George card. Honestly, at some point you'll be able to sell him. You'll probably lose a good chunk of your MT, no doubt, but he's a great card. You'll earn more MT. Honestly, Paul George is the biggest upgrade for this team, and I think he's worth it because Mitch Richmond is not quite getting the job done, in my opinion. Gunshi says he might grind for Shea. He's halfway there, and he has 150,000 MT. This is a really good team. Starting lineup is exceptional. Curry, I don't totally love with the way the meta of the game is now. I think having more size and versatility and inside ability with your point guard, as well specifically defense, is a lot more valuable now. 150,000 MT is not really enough to make huge changes, and you also have Steph and Magic. Your point guard position is set. Your shooting guard position are probably the 2 best shooting guards in the game. Small forward is elite. Power forward is very solid, and center is obviously incredible as well. 150,000 MT, the biggest upgrade you can make is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, honestly. I mean, there might be a viable card or 2 on the market that would upgrade your team because, I mean, he is not the most insane card, but E will get the job done. He's totally fine. And I don't know. I think the biggest upgrade you can make is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander right now. This team is really, really good. E is one of those cards who I think gets overlooked, but actually is a really good option as well. Just not a ton of people have that card, I guess, or think about him. But honestly, really good team. I have no issues with it whatsoever, and I think it's a really, really good squad. Third to last team today comes in from Eric Giles. He has 360,000 MT. Can't grind SGA. It's good to know that, honestly, but your point guards are still great. You got D-Wade, John Wall, and Magic locked in. You got Giannis. No need for Lonzo at this point. You got a good enough team already. I like that you only really have one true inside big because Giannis can stretch the floor a bit. Your team is really, really good. The small forward position is probably your weakest spot because I think MJ and T-Mac, as much as T-Mac is a good card, I don't know. There's a part of me that says take him out of the lineup potentially. Small forward, I could use a potential upgrade, honestly, like defensively. I guess MJ is an incredible defender, but at small forward specifically, I'd almost rather you could sell MJ and keep T-Mac at the 2 and pick up a Mikal Bridges. That's like a really interesting upgrade that I didn't really think of, but I just thought it's a guy who pops into mind as like a really good option who could play that position, who's buyable, really good card, probably a better value than MJ for that position as a better off-the-ball shooter and stuff, because at the 3, you don't need MJ's playmaking, and he's not a good off-the-ball shooter. He doesn't fit that role as well as a guy like Mikal Bridges does. So to me personally, I think that's probably your best upgrade right now. Outside of that, I really like the squad, though. It's a good team. Second to last squad comes in from Freddie, and he's got 113,000 MT, hoping they release a D-Rob, Tim Thomas, Ricky Davis. Trust me, I think we're all waiting for D-Rob, Tim Thomas, Ricky Davis, KP, guys like that. There are some guys who could come at any time, even a Kobe or LeBron, who could be game-changing options in this game. But obviously, guys like Tim Thomas and Ricky Davis are so excited because of the potential they have to be like, when are we getting that card? When there's going to be that card at some point. Who is it going to be? I think everyone's waiting for them. 113,000 MT is probably not going to be enough to get that card, though. So you might want to save some more MT. When I look at this squad, honestly, I am almost certain you already have Amethyst Steve Smith, because I assume you kind of grinded the game, already have Wilt. Good squad. I don't think Corey Maggette has any spot in this team, honestly. Not because he's a bad card. I just don't think he's not unsellable. You have him auctionable. Sell him. Jaren is also auctionable. I might hold on to him. I think he's more of a significant upgrade over a guy like Sean Kemp. But at shooting guard, just throw Steve Smith in there and sell Corey Maggette. You don't need him. That's MT that you don't have to spend. Save the MT and keep using the free card option if you have that type of free card option who's on the same level. You could even sell Jaren, start Chris Bosh, bring Sean Kemp off the bench. That'll be totally fine. Or actually, is that AD sellable? I think your AD is sellable too. It's kind of hard to tell, but it looks like your AD is sellable. That's who I'd sell. Sell AD, put Jaren at the backup 5, start Bosh at the 4, and then bring Kemp off the bench at the 4. That's what I would do. It's like, that's an incredible lineup. You're literally making 100,000 MT selling those two players, basically, or at least close to 100,000 MT. So you'll have 200,000 plus MT, and you're going to be basically at the point there where you can buy a diamond if you want. So if a really good diamond comes out in the next week or two, you can now go get that card, whereas otherwise you wouldn't have been able to. And you're really not downgrading your team barely at all. I think your team is basically staying exactly the same, and you're saving and you're getting yourself a ton more MT. That's just a really simple upgrade right there. It's not even an upgrade. You're just making MT and keeping your team the exact same. I don't think AD or Corey Maggette are really serving much of a purpose for your squad that Steve Smith and Sean Kemp can't do. Final team today is obviously a ridiculous flex squad. This is my boy 2A. I think I might actually be using his account for some stuff in the future. He's a GOAT. But what can he do to make his awful team better? He has obviously basically every single card in the game, has SGA, has all the top reward cards, has everything. But in terms of his 10-man lineup, I don't love the fact that he's using both Shaq and Wilt in his basic 10-man. I don't love the fact that he only has 2 point guards and Magic's the backup point guard. I think John Wall would be an upgrade at the backup point guard, or Lonzo Ball, either one. Honestly, with the way your bench is, I think you go Lonzo, Brandon Roy, and then backup small forward. Here's the thing. What do you have as your team, and then what's the best team in the game are different things. I would go SGA, Paul George, KD, Chet, Giannis, and then off the bench I would go Lonzo, B-Roy, AK probably, Bosh, and Embiid would probably be the 10 men that I would change your lineup to if I could change it to. But I don't know if you have John Wall. I don't know if you have those types of guys. You have basically every single card. That's how you could change basically having every single card and having the best team in the game. That's how you could change it into an even better version of having every single card and having the best team in the game. I see teams sometimes with people who have the best team in the game, and they don't really have it organized the way that I would recommend for a meta playstyle. Not that that's the core of the game or that there's anything wrong with it, but for my playstyle personally, I think you could rearrange your team team and change out some players and change some stuff up. But with that being said, that is going to do it for this video. I hope y'all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.